Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, and welcome here today to this battle between two Cantonian based sides. Cinnabar Flare will be challenging the Viridian City home team, Viridian Fissure. Now the Flare are going to start out with Rapidash and Charizard, two Cantonian Pokemon in fact, whereas the Viridian Fissure are going to start out with Swampert and Hippowdon. Now let us know in the comments today who you think is going to win. Will it be the Viridian Fissure or will it be Cinnabar Flare? Rapidash is going to have that speed advantage, but it doesn't matter because it's going to use Teleport to go straight back to the bench anyway. So we'll see who comes out in place of Rapidash. Already taking itself out of the matchup for the time being. Don't be confused, it's not eliminated, but Turtonator now comes back out in its place, the Dragon Fire type. Now Charizard is actually a good Pokemon to start with against the Viridian Fissure because Charizard is immune to ground type attacks. That Dragon Rush is going to connect with Swampert. Now Swampert has that water typing that it can use on the fire types, but it's going to go with a Syrian shot to start off this matchup. It's going to hit every Pokemon on the field, but it actually does the most damage to its own teammate Hippowdon with a critical hit, and not only that, it's left Hippowdon with a burn. That is a poor start for the Viridian Fissure. Clearly they are still reeling after their loss last week where they were confirmed that they will not be making the championship trials in 2 weeks. As Hippowdon goes with a brutal swing, also hitting everybody on the field, including Swampert. So those two Pokemon are not getting along to start off this matchup. Whereas the Cinnabar Flare off to a decent start as Charizard now has that speed advantage on the field, and it's going to go with the Scorching Sands. Continuing to target Swampert here, another starter type Pokemon. As Swampert's also left with a burn and taken down into the yellow with those Scorching Sands. Swampert's going to respond with an Energy Ball though. Wrong type of move to be using though against the Cinnabar Flare. Not very effective whatsoever on Turtonator. However, Turtonator will have its special defense lowered. Powdon now looking to follow up. It's going to go with the Wood Hammer. This also isn't going to be very effective on Turtonator. So at least this time Powdon and Swampert aren't hitting each other. Just sadly they're not hitting the Cinnabar Flare very well. As we get a Fairy Wind coming from Turtonator. It's going to focus in on Hippowdon. They're taking Hippowdon down into the yellow. So Swampert and Hippowdon already both in the yellow and both suffering from that burn in between turns. Now the Cinnabar Flare, if they win today, they will actually lock up a place in the top 4 for the championship trials. They will get an Elite 4 berth. Top 4 position, Elite 4 berth. They won't have to go through the wildcard games to get into the final, get into the championship trials. But that Iron Head on Hippowdon from Charizard will take it down into the red. As Swampert sets up for a Meteor Beam here. It will boost its special attack on this turn. And that Meteor Beam should connect next turn, as Hippowdon has flinched from the Iron Head. Turtonator is going to go with a Crab Hammer, but Hippowdon avoids that attack, which surely would have finished it off, as Swampert takes damage from the burn, and so does Hippowdon here. Now, as always, this is a 6-on-6 Metronome battle, and if we hit that 20-minute timer, we will go into single battle overtime. See if we can avoid that today. We haven't had too many this season as we're coming into the last 2 rounds. Charizard now going with the Geomancy. It's going to absorb that power on this turn. Now here comes Swampert's Meteor Beam. And targets Turtonator with that hit. And amazingly, Turtonator has been taken down. Super effective move. Turtonator is eliminated. What a connection. Now Hippowdon can focus in on Charizard. And it goes with the Recycle, but that does fail. Now we know that Rapidash will be coming back out onto the field shortly as Swampert is hit by that burn, and so is Hippowdon. Hippowdon's still holding on, but this should be Hippowdon's last turn in the matchup. Here comes Rapidash back out onto the field. But a good start for the Viridian Fissure. As I said, probably reeling from last week. They came so close to beating the Maleo-Draconians. That was a fantastic matchup, back and forth. They just could not finish it. As Rapidash now going with the Petal Dance, it's not going to wait for that burn to finish Hippowdon. Rapidash gets that super effective elimination. Now Charizard continues that Geomancy. Charizard lifting up its special attack and special defense here, as well as its speed. See if it can capitalize on that in the coming turns. It's already got that 109 special attack. Power Swap now coming from Swampert, focusing in on Rapidash. So it switches all its attack and special attack changes with the target. Should have gone for Charizard after it performed that Geomancy. Now we have Flygon coming out to join Swampert. Swampert having just been taken down into the red by that burn. Now Swampert is an easy target for the Cinnabar Flare. Charizard goes with the Fling. It's going to throw its Leopard Berry. And it will target Swampert with that. It does very minimal damage. Swampert proceeds to eat that Leopard Berry. But that Petal Dance from Rapidash is going to continue. And it's going to hit Flygon with that, taking it down into the yellow. A huge hit. Rapidash, though, is going to be left confused due to the fatigue of that Petal Dance. Flygon going for its first move of the matchup, and it goes with the Night Daze. Targeting Rapidash. Rapidash takes its first damage of the matchup so far. Now Swampert's going to perform a Thrash. Similar to that Petal Dance by Rapidash, it's going to be left confused in a number of turns. If that burn doesn't finish it off first, but Rapidash is taken down into the yellow by Swampert there. Now speed advantage is heavily in the favour of the Cinnabar Flare. Charizard's going to perform the Octazooka. Targeting Flygon here, and Flygon is eliminated by Charizard already. That was very impressive teamwork by the Cinnabar Flare. Finishing off Flygon very quickly as Rapidash hits itself in its confusion, taking itself down in the red. But Swampert targets Charizard and doesn't finish off Rapidash. Now Swampert's going to be left confused due to that fatigue. And that burn leaves Swampert hanging by the minimalist of threads. It's still there though, as Mamoswine comes out for the Viridian Fissure. Mamoswine, that ice ground type. And Charizard still with that boosted speed stat to work off. He's going to go with the Rock Tomb. Mamoswine avoids that attack. Rapidash is snapped out of its confusion here. And it's going to go and perform a Dragon Dance, so it's going to boost its special attack here. Sorry, I apologize. Not its special attack. It boosts its attack stat now. Its attack's already at 100. It's boosted its speed as well. So Rapidash and Charizard are boosting their favorite attacks. As Mamoswine almost gets the elimination on Rapidash, but Rapidash is holding on. If Swampert can hit it here, it will get that elimination. And Swampert goes with the role play though, so Swampert doesn't go for the offensive move. Instead, it changes its ability to Blaze, but it doesn't matter because that burn is going to finish Swampert off. So now Swampert's eliminated. There's 3 Pokemon down for the Viridian Fissure and 1 down for the Cinnabar Flare. And Mudsdale coming out now to join Mamoswine. Now Mamoswine and Mudsdale are at full strength. Rapidash is just hanging on. Charizard's still in the green. Here goes Charizard. About to perform a Moonblast. So it should restore its strength. Oh, apologies. I'm thinking of Moonlight. Instead, that Moonblast is going to hit Mudsdale and take it down into the yellow. Rapidash now going to go with a Liquidation. This will be super effective, and it's going to go for Mudsdale. Mudsdale's not even going to get to perform a move because it is already eliminated after that super effective hit. Mudsdale is taken out by the 1-2 hit from Charizard and Rapidash. Amazing teamwork there as we get an Acid Armor being performed by Mamoswine. We're shortly about to find out who the last Pokemon for the Viridian Fissure is. Only 2 Pokemon remaining for the Viridian Fissure as Golett comes out onto the field, see if that Ghost typing can be of advantage to the Fissure. Cinnabar Flare still have 5 Pokemon remaining. Charizard now performing the Steel Wing, welcoming Golett to the field. Rapidash, getting that speed advantage massively on the side of the Cinnabar Flare, is going to perform a Bullet Seed. And it's going to target Golett with this. It's a multi-hit move, and it's super effective. It's got 1. It's got 2. This actual third one is going to connect. It should finish it off. And it does. So Golett is already eliminated as well, similar to Mudsdale. Unbelievable there by Charizard and Rapidash. I cannot believe they just did that. And Rapidash is still holding on here as we're going to get a Disarming Voice from Mamoswine. This is going to hit both Charizard and will finish off Rapidash. Charizard gets taken down into the yellow. Now, that was not very effective, but Mamoswine needs to do that. It needs to get these eliminations as quickly as possible if it can hit Charizard with a Rock-type move. We have an Evolution now, Flareon coming out for the Cinnabar Flare. Mamoswine can't capitalize on its Ground-type advantage. It can capitalize on it over Flareon, just not Charizard. Again, Charizard being immune to Ground-type attacks due to its Flying typing. Mamoswine's going to go with a Smackdown. Speaking of Rock-type moves, but it goes for Flareon, takes Flareon down into yellow. Super effective. Flareon going for its first move of the matchup. Goes with a Bone Rush. Hits Mamoswine once. Hits it twice. Only hits it twice. Unfortunately, it doesn't do a great deal of damage, however. It's Flareon and Charizard are both in the yellow. Now Charizard. It's going to go with the Revenge. That's a better hit on the Mamoswine as it's super effective, but it's only being chipped away at gradually at this point. As Mamoswine's going to go with the Slack Off and restore its health anyway. But the Cinnabar Flare having a very impressive performance, trying to lock up their top 4 position for those championship trials. Flare are now going with the Worker. Flareon will boost its attack and special attack here. See if it can capitalize on that. We're going to get a Bulldoze though from Charizard. This is going to hit everyone on the field. It's super effective on Flareon. Charizard has just taken out its own teammate. Clearly not happy that it's a lost Rapidash on the way Flareon was performing. But it will lower Mamoswine's speed. Mamoswine needs to go for that Rock-type move on Charizard. Instead, it's going to go for a Tailwind, so it will give itself a bit of a speed boost over the Cinnabar Flare. Charizard unbelievably just eliminating its own teammate. Now, we have another Cantonian Pokemon coming out for the Cinnabar Flare. This time it's Ninetales. Charizard, even after that Tailwind, is still faster than Mamoswine, and it's going to go with a Water Gun. This will be super effective. Takes Mamoswine down into the red. Amazing hit. Mamoswine's holding on. Still got 3 Pokemon to contend with though. It's going to perform a Wrap. This won't do a great deal of damage on its first hit, but it will impact Ninetales in between turns. Ninetales now going for its first move of the matchup. And it's going to go with a Whirlpool. This should be its last move of the matchup. This should get the Cinnabar Flare the win. And that it does, because Mamoswine has been eliminated, and a massive victory for the Cinnabar Flare. They have locked up a top 4, an Elite 4 spot for the championship trials. Cinnabar Flare will not have to worry about the wildcard matches. They will be in the first week of the championship trials. I look forward to seeing the Cinnabar Flare there. They have been so impressive. This is their 5th win in a row. They have amazing momentum heading into the championship trials, and they're definitely going to want to continue that when they host the Virbank Venom next week on Cinnabar Island. So another top 8 side are the Virbank Venom. Virbank Venom are fighting for a spot in the top 4. The Cinnabar Flare are going to look to try and prevent that next week and try and lock up their 2nd place position heading into those championship trials. Whereas the Viridian Fissure knew they couldn't make the championship trials. Next week, they're going to face another side who know they can't, and that's the Lumiose Lightning, who have had a very poor last half of the season. Very sad. They have one of the biggest losing streaks all season. So we'll see what the Viridian Fissure can do, see if they can finish off their season on a positive note in Viridian City. But there it was. Cinnabar Flare dominating here today, even capable of taking out their own teammates. But that combination between Charizard and Rapidash seemed unstoppable. But Nidorino knows. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field today. And if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe. It always helps out the channel. But more importantly, always remember, you are awesome, and I will speak to you next time.